beautiful, thank you. So, today is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everyone that was not here at the beginning. And I have to admit that when I wrote this message a few weeks ago, I wasn't even thinking about it being Mother's Day. And then I had to kind of laugh at myself because I had the title and everything, and I said, what's faith got to do with it? Well, hello. Doesn't it take a whole lot of faith to be a mother? Yeah. I mean, let alone the idea of having faith just to get pregnant. You know, we have to have faith in order to go through the whole idea of giving birth from the labor to delivery, and that takes a whole lot of faith. And to make it through all the trials and tribulations and to keep loving our children through all of that takes a whole lot of faith, right? And yet the joyful and successful times in the lives of our children let us know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we have all the faith of a mother and all the faith that we need as a mother, doesn't it? Yeah. And we can take those ideas and we can expand on them and we can explore them. But today we're going to look at faith, the power of faith, in fact. And Charles Fillmore defined 12 powers for us. And he pointed out that we all have those existing within us and that we can tap into these powers and ignite them, if you will, to bring forth greater things for us. So today we're going to look at faith and we're going to synthesize it a little bit and try to figure out how that shows up for us and what it really means to say, what's faith got to do with it? But let us first affirm our statements of truth, shall we? I am a child of God. I am deserving of good in my life. I am accepting my good now. Thank you very much. Well, faith, what is it and what does it really mean, you know? Perhaps some of the quotes on this slide will bring about some of the ideas you have on faith. Don't downgrade your dream to match your reality. Upgrade your faith to match your destiny. Do you like that one? Accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be. That's a cool one too. Develop so much faith that you simply are unable to worry anymore. Now that can be powerful for a lot of people, can't it? Yeah. Well, Charles Fillmore taught us this in Talks on Truth. Faith, the substance of thought, then becomes the rock upon which the body temple is built. If you are living in your thinking faculty intellectually, if you believe in birth and death, you must come out of that belief. You are not exercising your rightful dominion, but are subject to error of thought. So, faith is the substance of thought that builds the foundation on which we grow spirit, mind, and body, is what he's saying. The second sentence of this quote is really talking about the limitations that we put on ourselves. You know, we know the truth of us, and yet we doubt that all the time. And if doubt's in the picture, then guess what? We're not expressing faith, are we? Not the true essence of faith. And if we really truly understand truth, then we know there is no birth or death, that there is only life. And whether we're in this skin or not, there's only life. So if our mothers have gone before us, that essence of who they are is still within us and around us and protecting us and loving us and nurturing us in our thoughts and in our memories and in the energy that is. And that's all we have to think about. But it takes that kind of faith to believe and know these truths, to know that life is beyond this skin, beyond this body that is here right now. But faith is a foundation for us to move forward with every decision we make. Because if we truly know that we know something, it's easier to make that decision, isn't it? It's easier to step forward in faith knowing that it's going to be okay. And all of that comes about with what we believe and what we know to be true. Haven't we all been in a situation where we knew it was exactly ours to do and we did it? Yeah, and sometimes it might have been just calling somebody up because we had that sense that we were supposed to call them in that moment. And it was just like the perfect thing. It might even have been just making that decision and knowing that that decision was for our highest good and for the highest good for everybody around us, even though it might not have looked like that. And we've done that with our children numerous times, haven't we? made that decision and they go, but mom, it's like the end of the world. But we knew it was for their highest good and for the highest good for us, because maybe they needed that lesson that moment. Maybe that just wasn't the healthiest thing for them to be doing. But we know that. And when we come from that power of knowing, that's when we truly have faith. Well, Fillmore defined faith in the revealing word as the perceiving power of the mind linked with the power to shape substance. The perceiving power of the mind, willing to shape substance. And we know substance is God, don't we? So it's the ability to be able to shape all. And if you truly believe this, do you believe it?
Yes.
Good. Then you are going to be using that perceiving power of your mind. And if you look at the quote, it's a small m mind, meaning our mind. So we have to be able to take our mind, tap it into that oneness of God, turn it into a capital M mind to know that we know that it is so. And that's what faith is all about. But can you tell me that today, thus far, you have used this ability of the perceiving power of the mind? Have you used it thus far? Have you had faith in something? Jennifer's shaking her head, yes. I imagine you did have to have faith to come into a new church and play so eloquently and just, follow Jess after everybody's like a Jess lover, right? Well, we can be a Jennifer lover too. Yeah. But it takes faith, it takes faith just to step forward and do what is ours to do. But the minute we link that power of our small m mind to the big M mind, wonderful things can happen. We open up that limitless possibilities that is ours. And it's there through that power of faith that it becomes a catalyst. So, when we do this, our consciousness shifts to this new level of being. When we truly open up and connect to that power of faith, to that oneness of mind, to that capital M mind. And when we truly connect through faith, this is a whole new dimension. It's a whole new way of being, because that doubt and worry and all of that just fall off to the side, don't they? It's not like they're even in your life anymore. And when you're moving forward with faith and you're making decisions and you're doing things from that place of knowing, you don't even think about doubt. You don't even think about fear. You don't even think about worry or stress, do you? No, because it doesn't exist. It just dissipates away. It's kind of like muddy water. If it rains hard enough, pretty soon the water gets clear, doesn't it? And that's what happens, it just goes away. But we have a great example of someone who emulated this, of course it was Jesus Christ, the way shower. And when Jesus the man connected to that perceiving power of the mind, he was expressing from the Christ. And we too can express from the Christ, because that's what he taught us. In Fillmore's text, Talks on Truth, it says, the great modern revival of divine healing is due to the application of the same law that Jesus used. He demanded faith on the part of those whom he healed, and with that faith as the point of mental and spiritual contact, he released the latent energy in the atomic structure of his patients, and they were restored to life and health. And that might sound like a bunch of jibble-jabble, but it does work, and how it works we're going to break down a little bit. Number one, it works because when we and the patient or the one seeking help both agree on the power of faith, then you have made that connection with that perceiving power of mind, turning it into a capital M mind, which is that oneness of God, and that power comes forth to do mighty works. Well, guess what? I love this. Science has recently discovered this spiritual truth, believe it or not. And this, I was telling some people about this in Metaphysical Bible Study a few weeks ago that I found this neat research. And it's called, the title of it was called, Scientists Finally Show How Your Thoughts Can Cause Specific Molecular Changes to Your Genes. Now come on, Unity's been teaching this over 125 years, haven't they? But what's kind of cool is when science kind of catches up. Yeah, it makes us feel better anyway. We like to be validated, don't we? Yeah. With evidence growing that training the mind, this is from the article, training the mind or inducing certain modes of consciousness can have positive health effects, researchers have sought to understand how these practices physically affect the body. body. A new study by researchers in Wisconsin, Spain, and France, don't ask me how those all correlate. Wisconsin, hello. Reports, maybe it's the cheese. There you go. Reports the first evidence of specific molecular changes in the body following a period of intensive mindfulness meditation practice. Hello. So what they're attributing this to is consciousness and the subconscious minds, right? And our subconscious thoughts are what we have experienced here on this earthly plane, right? And Dr. Lipton, who wrote this report, says this, states that you can literally change the fate of your cells by altering your thoughts. Now we know this in Unity, we know this. We know Myrtle prayed to every cell in her body. But when science starts validating that and has physical proof, it just sets me on fire. Some of these changes include the range of genetic and molecular differences, including altered levels of gene-regulating technology and reduced levels of pro-inflammatory genes, which in turn correlated with faster physical recovery from a stressful situation. Isn't that huge? I mean, come on, that changes a lot of things. It can help diabetes, it can help arthritis, all those kind of things, and we know this. We know that we can do this. The downside side of their research was that they were only relying on positive affirmations in their meditations. And so people whose subconscious thoughts, which are those thoughts that, you know, are your embedded culture, your embedded theology, all those kind of things, kept kind of like bumping them out of the healing. They couldn't truly believe it because those subconscious thoughts were acting more powerfully than the affirmations they were receiving. Now the cool thing is that we know in Unity that Fillmore has taught us a way to get around this, right? It's using the denial first and then the affirmation. And so that's the thing. Dr. Lipton stated that those subconscious thoughts, he said, were more powerful than your consciousness. Well, it can't be that way because we know what consciousness can do. We know it. We've proven it here even in this congregation. But the thing is, the minute we change our thinking, we're changing all of that. And I'm going to tell you about denials and affirmations in just a minute. But sometimes we ourselves struggle with believing that we can heal ourselves, don't we? I know. I've been on that boat too, paddling down the canoe, you know, and down the river in the canoe. But the capital T truth of us is that we can connect to that perceiving power of mind, and we can get over those old thoughts, those old things that are lying in our subconscious that keeps us from truly healing. And when we do this, then it will affect our mind, our body, our spirit, the whole beingness of who we are. But see, it comes down to believing about ourselves and how much faith we have. And even Dr. Lipton agreed with that. It depends on what we believe and how much faith we have. Science is saying this, and we know this. But when we align our beliefs, we can cure cancer, or not. Dr. Lipton said this. We can also, if we believe in dying, guess what? We're going to die. But Dr. Lipton says that he calls this the nocebo effect instead of the placebo effect. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I love that. So we can shift those subconscious thoughts and negative thoughts to positive thoughts just the way Charles and Myrtle taught us through that denial and affirmation. We just deny the power that we're giving away to something else, and we affirm something that is the truth of us, the capital T truth of us, and that's all we have to do. You see, that denial allows us to take back any power that we've given to those thoughts. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, you know, my mother never loved me. Oh, you know, whatever it is. I mean, all of those negative things that we have piled up within our subconscious that keeps us from knowing that we are a child of God, that we are truth, that we can be healthy and whole. All those things. Oh, I'm not a good singer. Oh, I'm not a good whatever. You know, all those negative things that we've piled up that really aren't the truth of us, that we don't have to believe anymore. And what happens is that denial erases those negative thoughts and allows us to truly align with that capital T truth of us, which is the affirmation. So once we shift those thoughts, we're in a higher place in our subconsciousness, right? because we're no longer believing all that garbage. We open up a portal in our consciousness, and guess what? Then we connect to that super consciousness, which is God. And when we do that, then we do have that perceiving power of capital M mind coming forth through us to step forth with all the faith we need in the world. Dr. Lipton agrees with this, and this is what he actually wrote in the article, which just made me almost want to cry, because I was so happy. The new science of epigenetics, you got to remember that term, promises that every person on the planet has the opportunity to become who they really are, complete with unimaginable power and the ability to operate and go forward the highest possibilities, including healing our bodies and our culture and living in peace. Do you see that? It's not only just for us, it's for the whole world. And that's why it's so powerful for us to step every step in faith. That's why it's so powerful for us to continue to have those thoughts that are capital T truth. Because we are going to affect the whole world. We can bring about peace. We can bring about all that we need to be who we are and to who we truly are. And I love that science finally agrees with this, that we can be all that we can be. And it's so huge. I mean, it's so huge. And I feel like it's more than just affirming this capital T truth. What it is it's bringing forth the idea of spirituality and science as one entity, isn't it? And when we see that, then we see that it's, science isn't over here as analytical and spirituality over here is like woo-woo. No, we're together in the same thing, believing and going forth. And that is powerful. And it's truly the oneness of mind merging together, don't you think? It excites me. I don't know about you guys, but I love it. And what it does for me is just allow me to feel that faith within myself, kind of gear up and be able to do more and see more and hold more for each other. I have to tell you that, we don't really need the proof from science, although it does make us feel good to have that, doesn't it? And it kind of validates that. But even if you read Fillmore's stuff, Myrtle or Charles's stuff, you know that it was way ahead of its time. And if it's way ahead of its time, then we're probably still way ahead of our time. And that's okay. Don't you want to be there? I'd rather be there than living, yeah, right, Michael. Than back in the Stone Age, still mea culpa, But we have to listen to that instinctual power of faith, that's for sure. And if we could totally grasp this, then we know that there are many teachers out there that teach us about this idea of faith. Fillmore says, have faith in the power of your mind to penetrate and release the energy that is pent up in the atoms of your body, and you will be astounded at the response. I believe the energy that gets pent up in our bodies sometimes are those weird little aches and pains that we get. All of a sudden we're doing fine that morning, and then all of a sudden we might have a stomach ache, or we kind of like, oh God, that kind of hurts. And instead of saying, what are you trying to tell me? No, what do? We run to the pill bottle. I need a couple of ibuprofen, Tylenol, whatever it is. Oh no, I need a pain pill. This is really bad. Whatever, but we don't have to do that, We have to start asking ourselves, what are you telling me? If it's showing up in your body, then by golly, and we're mind, body, and spirit, then we need to be asking ourselves, what is this? And if we can't figure it out, then guess what you do? You go to prayer meditation and you ask the one source, the energy of that connecting power of perceiving mind, and say, what's going on with me today? What is that telling me? What do I need to do? And you'll figure it out. It'll come to you. The messages are there for us if we go forth in faith. And I try to pay attention to those. Sometimes it's hard, I get that, But that pent-up energy can leave your body just as easily as it comes. We've all experienced that. One minute we're feeling something, then we get busy doing something else. We're singing joy songs, something. Nothing's hurting anymore. Hey, what's going on? We're driving along the road listening to Jennifer's CD. Everything's great. The traffic's not bothering us. We're feeling good. It's like, hello. That's all we have to do is refocus, don't we? We don't have to go to those places anymore. Well, I thought it was amazing statement of faith and how we all have have done that thing that Jesus did, you know, heal the sick and all that kind of stuff. Because I got to tell you, last week Reverend Warren, you know, asked people, no, was it the week before last? I don't remember. Yeah, the week before last week. Oh no, it's last week because you were talking. I'm mixed up on my weeks because last week was the prayer shawl week. Yeah. Yes. So it was the week before that. Reverend Warren asked people to stand up in here. And he said, anybody that's had any kind of healing, mind, body, spirit, any kind of healing, stand up. And you know, almost everybody stood up. That was powerful. That was so cool. And the other thing was, last week we had the prayer shawl retiring of Betty, you know, and we asked people to bring the prayer shawls. And just having all of that and thinking about all the people that have been touched by those prayer shawls and how far they have been expanded out and everything. That's healing. You know, and a lot of you brought your prayer shawls and you shared that with each other. And that is cool. You know, that is what we're talking about here. We're talking about demonstrating that perceiving power of mind, and we're doing it with each other. Whoa. Hello. With each other, and you know, we're doing it with people outside of this congregation. So that's all you have to do. You just have to look at those examples, and every one of those are amazing, aren't they? I mean, I think about Willie's birthday. I'm sorry. He was Lazarus laying in the bed. Yeah. You know, you were risen from the bed, weren't you? Really? Yes, no, maybe? Dr. Barbara, you can attest to this one.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, we all thought, even though we held that for him. But you know what? He had faith. And you know how I know he had faith? Because when we went in there, Reverend Warren went over and grabbed his hand and he squeezed Warren's hand. And you know, when you're praying with somebody and you're holding that light for somebody and they squeeze your hand, you know, it's powerful. You know that they're still got that faith that everything's going to be okay. And look at him, celebrating his birthday, getting money for it. It's a good thing. It's so amazing. But see, this is what we need to do. We need to focus in on that amazingness of all of us. Together we are lifting consciousness. Can you believe that?
Yes.
Yes. And making a difference in the lives of not only ourselves, but in the lives of others. And this is what we need to stay focused on. We need to stay focused on the capital T truth that we are all amazing. Can you say that you're amazing?
Yes.
I'm amazing, yes. And you know, we have this new campus going on, and we're building those ideas and desires and dreams. And I know we're not giving weekly updates these days, but believe you me, the energy is still moving forward on this. We still got things going. We still got the architect working. We got the engineer working. We're working with GDOT. We're trying to, you know, bless that part and make sure it's okay if we don't go out there and mow. All these things are still happening. And that energy is coming forth, and it's taken everybody's faith to get this far, hasn't it?
Yes.
I mean, come on, when we came here, nobody ever thought that was going to happen. You know, yeah, we got a building fund. Yeah, we got a building fund. Yeah, we would like to have a bigger building. Yeah, we got a building fund. No, but that's it. That's where the energy stopped. You know, so it is going forward, and it's taken everybody's faith to make this come forth and demonstrate in our lives. And my gosh, you know, the youth ed is growing, and you know, Judy got a break again today for Happy Mother's Day in the back row because she didn't have to teach today. But you know, that gyrating energy that comes forth is our faith in action, our faith moving forward. And it takes the kind of faith that is this. Faith is that quality within us which enables us to look past appearances of lack, limitation, or difficulty, to take hold of the divine idea and believe in it even though we do not see any evidence of it except in our mind. Through faith we know with an inner knowing the truth that has not yet expressed in our manifest world. And that's the truth. You know, it's not about wishing or hoping it will be so. And faith is not us expressing as depression or anger or stress when it doesn't happen. Because faith is a power that is within us that activates on every level of mind, body, and spirit. When we are aligned with the capital T truth, when we are aligned with that idea of faith, and when we are aligned with capital M mind, it comes forth for us, whatever that it looks like out there. And how do we find this level of faith? I love this little clip in here. I knew some of you would. It's invisible, but it has the power to connect you to what you need. Just think about that every time you connect to Wi-Fi. And now, you know, we just connect automatically. So can't we do that with our faith? I would say so. But I love The Power of Faith by Hannah Moore Cohouse. And y'all should have got a card when you came. Oh, I said y'all. Ah. All of you should have gotten a card when you came. Damn this out to us. That has the prayer of faith on it. And that's a powerful prayer to realign yourself with faith. And so if you will say it with me. Did everybody get a card? Because if you didn't raise your hand, I'll make sure Marvin gets you one. Marvin, we have a few people that didn't get a card. Let's see. Yeah, just bring them through here. And just keep your hand up. And Marvin will hand them out. And we're going to all start saying it together because I got it on the PowerPoint anyway. So, the prayer of faith. God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. God dwells within me, guides my way through every moment, night and day. I now am wise, I now am true, patient, kind, and loving too. All things I am, can do, and may be through Christ the truth that is in me. God is my help, I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing quick. God is my all, I know no fear, since God and love and truth are here. So if you're still asking yourself, what's faith got to do with it? Faith has to do with it all, no matter what it is.